If you are thinking about selling in Yakima in 2026, I really need to warn you about something. The market has shifted. Homes are no longer selling in a weekend like they did a few years ago. And the homes that skip the prep work, those are the ones that end up sitting. Right now, the average days on market in Yakima is pushing close to 80 days. And in some higher price points, we're seeing that to be well over 100 days. And not even that's entirely accurate because homes often expire and relist and restart their days on market timer. So here's really the interesting part. Some homes are still selling that first weekend. So in this video, I am going to break down what the Yakima market looks like right now, what sellers should do before listing their home, and some of the costs that sellers forget to plan for, and why preparation can literally be the difference between selling in 3 days or 3 months. And stay till the end because I'm going to give you a simple seller prep checklist that you can start working on today. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm corieburck and I'm a realtor here in Yakima, Washington. I help people buy and sell homes all across the Yakima County, and a lot of my job is helping sellers position their homes strategically so they can sell with less stress and better results. Now, if you're thinking about selling your home, relocating to Yakima, or just want to stay informed about the local market, consider subscribing. Now, let's talk about what selling in Yakima actually looks like in 2026. One of the biggest things that sellers really need to understand right now is that the market has in fact shifted. For a while there, homes were still selling extremely fast. And for a while, back a few years ago, homes, it was like the blink of an eye. They had multiple offers. Buyers were offering shorter timelines for things like inspection. Very little prep work was really needed because people were so desperate to get into homes. That is really not the environment we are in today. And that means it requires a different approach. Right now in Yakima, we're seeing average days on market approaching 80 days. But that number can vary a lot depending on the price range. Lower price homes that are in good, presentable condition might still sell in 50 to 60 days, sometimes faster. We're often seeing 100 days or more, even if they are presented pretty well. But if they are not positioned correctly, we are seeing that climb much higher. In fact, they're often expiring once or twice and then being relisted. And so that days on market counter keeps getting reset every time they relist. Now, that doesn't mean that homes aren't still selling, because they are, but the homes that sell the fastest right now tend to have 3 things in common. 1, they're well prepared. They are clean, show ready. The homes have been well maintained. Little repairs have been done. They are well prepared homes. They are easy to show. They are also priced correctly. This is very, very important. No home will sell no matter how well it's staged if it is not priced correctly. And the third thing is that they show well online. You don't need to just prepare for showings in person, while that is the tangible thing. But if people don't like your home when they see it online, they're not even going to make it in the door. So we also have to make sure it shows really well online. And honestly, I have to tell you, preparation is the biggest one because it actually helps all the other things, right? One thing that I often tell sellers is this: for a few weeks, your home is not even your home anymore. It's a product. Now that can be daunting and a little bit strange, but buyers are going to compare your home to every other home online in Yakima and every other home they see in person. So if yours don't match up, it automatically puts it off the list. They are scrolling through photos. They are comparing the kitchen side by side. They are definitely comparing condition. If a home has lots of little we call it deferred maintenance. If there's a lot of little deferred maintenance issues, that's a big red flag for buyers. And if they're comparing 2 homes side by side and yours has a lot of deferred maintenance, similar price, similar finishes, they're probably going to go with the home that doesn't have deferred maintenance. So the question becomes, does your home make buyers think I could move in tomorrow? Or that is a lot of work, because buyers today are far more cautious about taking on projects. They have more selection than they've had in years. Now, here are the things that consistently make the biggest difference when preparing a home for sale. And none of these are particularly glamorous, but they really do matter. Decluttering This is usually step number one. We need less furniture. We need clear countertop. We need open space. It makes your home look bigger. You need to depersonalize it. Buyers want to see the size of the rooms, not your belongings. And you're going to have to pack anyway, so pack as much as possible, like an Airbnb. What do you need to live day to day, even if it doesn't have all the things you'd like to have day to day? Next is a deep clean. I often recommend professional cleaning if possible, because buyers really do notice things. They notice things like baseboards, kitchens and bathrooms, windows, the air return for your HVAC system. If they see that that's dirty, they're going, they've never taken care of their home. What else can I not see that they've not taken care of? You know, they get all that from a dirty air return. They care about and notice things like windows. They definitely notice pet odors. If you have pet odors, we got to get that squared away before we even take anybody through your home, or we need to list significantly lower. Now, these are all seemingly small details, but they have a big impact on how buyers feel when they walk through the home. And then we need them to feel like it's homey. Next up is small repairs. We're talking about things like loose door handles, paint touch-ups, leaky faucets. Again, these things really seem small, but buyers see them and then they start wondering, what else has not been maintained that I can't see? And then the next really big one, you'll hear people talk about this one all the time, and that is curb appeal. And this is especially important here in Yakima. A lot of buyers are going to drive past your house before they even schedule a showing with their agent. Really, really simple things can go a really long way. We're talking about things like mowing and trimming, pressure washing, fresh bark or mulch, and definitely cleaning the front entry area. You want buyers to be excited before they even step inside. And you would be surprised how quickly people will take a home off their list after a drive-by if they don't like the way it looks outside. I don't get it personally. I live on the inside of a house, not the front yard of a house, but I'm a minority here. I understand that. So next, I want to give you an example from a real recent seller I had. She did everything on the checklist. She had the windows professionally cleaned. She had the exterior pressure washed. She actually had done a ton of decluttering before I even got there, and actually had started staging the home before I even got there. The home looked fantastic. I knew it was going to look so good in pictures. And I told her initially out the gate, like, hey, I know this feels like a lot of work, but it absolutely matter. We have to get people in the door, and once they get here, we need to impress them. And we were competing with new construction homes. So it was a really big deal because those homes were going to show really, really well, or the people were going to be able to pick the finishes themselves. So we're competing with a home that's already been lived in with new construction. That is hard to do. A lot of people say, I'll just do the new construction, pick everything myself, and I'll get a clean slate. But sure enough, she did everything we talked about, and we went on the market, and we had 17 families through the home in the first 2 days. And we ended up going under contract that first weekend. But I have also seen the opposite. I've seen really, really great homes sit on the market way longer than they should have, simply because the prep work wasn't done. And there's a lot of reasons that happens. It can come from maybe the sellers just don't understand or haven't been educated on what things they should be doing. Maybe they don't have the time, energy, or money to do those things, despite what their realtor is recommending. But honestly, these homes are the worst situation, because those homes often end up selling for less than they could have over things that were pretty inexpensive to fix. Because once a home's been sitting on the market, everybody starts wondering what's wrong with it and how can I negotiate this to my advantage? And they're going to be able to, because they have no competition. Now, another thing I want sellers thinking about ahead of listing is the costs involved. Most of these aren't huge, but planning them makes the process go much smoother. And these things can add up over time. So some common ones include things for pre-listing preparation, things like cleaning, landscaping, minor repairs, sometimes paint. Many sellers spend anywhere from a few hundred to a few $1,000s, now depending on the home. The bigger it is, obviously, the more money it takes. Next is holding costs. Now, this is something sellers need to think about a lot more right now, because if your average days on market is approaching 80 days, you may need to plan for mortgage parent payments, maybe even dual mortgage payments if you've already secured your new home. utilities, yard maintenance, even though you're not living there, if you are choosing not to live there during that time, and potentially for an extra couple of months. These things can really add up. Next is closing costs. Now, typical seller closing costs here where I live include things like real estate commissions, Washington state excise tax, and title and escrow fees. Your agent, before you list your home, while you're signing paperwork, actually before you sign paperwork, should walk you through an estimated net sheet so you can understand what your final proceeds might look like. The homes that are selling fast in Yakima right now tend to be well prepared, priced strategically, and move in ready. And those homes still get showings quickly, and sometimes they still sell the first weekend. So as promised at the beginning of the video, if you're planning to sell your home this year, here's a very simple checklist starting point. Declutter and depersonalize, deep clean the home, handle small repairs, improve your curb appeal, and talk with a local agent about pricing strategy. Even doing just those things puts you ahead of most sellers. Now, selling a home is a very big decision, and I completely understand that. And the strategy that you use can make a huge difference in how quickly your home sells and how much you ultimately walk away with in equity. If you're thinking about selling anywhere in Yakima County, I'm always happy to have a conversation and talk you through what selling your home in today's market might look like. And if you're planning on making a move or just want to stay up to date on the market, I recommend watching this video because YouTube thinks that you might like that. Now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.